Hi, this is Aaron Wilson. I'm at the Greenbrier Sports Performance Center where the Texans were dealt a potentially devastating blow to their defense hours ago when veteran safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson crumbled to a heap, went to the ground as he was covering John Mechie III. Looked like a routine play, but it was anything but routine for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. C.D. Deuce, who's already become a popular member of this team on the field and in the locker room, and a very valuable piece to one of the elite defenses in the NFL. And tests are pending, MRI, x-rays. It'll take some time to determine what the extent of the damage is. I believe it's going to be something bad with the knee. He grabbed his leg and he couldn't put any weight on it. He was carted off the field and it was silent around him as players prayed and took a knee while he was being attended to by medical personnel. They took him inside, and before they did, with practice halted out of respect for a fallen warrior, they went up to him one by one, the players, to give him well wishes, and he's in their prayers. Very sad moment for the Texans, and Texans coach D'Amico Ryan said it's heartbreaking anytime you see someone go down like that. He was not definitive about the injury, and it's still too soon to say, but I will tell you this, I'm told by sources it is serious and there is major concern about the availability for this season for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And he's been having a very good camp. He was as advertised in terms of ball hawking, instinctive, hard hitting, tough, some trash talking. He was what he was in Philadelphia, which is a guy that's in the mix, that's always needling the opponents, needling the offense, and enjoying the back and forth. And someone that really was enjoying and embracing being a Texan, had accepted the trade, was healthy and enjoying himself, and now, unfortunately, a sad turn of events with an injury that is believed to be quite serious. We are not reporting yet anything definitive because we don't have definitive word yet. That's what tests are for. That's what doctors are for. I'm not a doctor. I don't attempt to play one on TV, but I can just give you the information that I have. I'm told that this is being taken quite serious, what's going on with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And this was a scrimmage they were having. It wasn't a dangerous practice. It wasn't anything like that. It was a practice they were having. Let's pick up where I left off. Got a text from a source close to the situation. They are still awaiting word on C.J. Gardner-Johnson. As this fluid medical situation continues, they'll evaluate what's going on with his right leg. There's concern, serious concern, I'm told, about his condition. And, it's just a tough blow. This is the guy that intercepted 6 passes last year. They won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the better football players on the defense overall, and part of a very talented secondary. We'll stay with this story, and I want to tell you, some little bit about what I think could happen with the secondary and some of the potential, I would say contingency plans in case this is as serious as we're hearing, and there is some type of, if it's a season ending or most of the season or whatever it might be with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and they are bracing for the worst. So here's what they could do. They could have M.J. Stewart play. They could plug him in. That's one of their options. Another one is shifting nickel Jalen Petrie back to safety. I think that's a good option for them, and he could certainly play safety. What would you do at nickel? Yes, you have Arthur Millette, but you also have a rookie corner in Jalen Smith that showed a lot of potential. And he's played nickel before for the USC Trojans. So you could have Jalen Smith maybe plug him in at nickel. And that wouldn't surprise me if they did that and had Jalen Petrie play safety. Right now, they haven't really plotted a lot of contingency plans because you're still waiting for the latest information on the status of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And so I want to let you guys know with Jimmy Ward. Doesn't look like he's going to be ready for the start of the season. Of course, he still has a pending case. But the reason he wouldn't be ready for the season is because of the foot surgery that he had. So he is on the physically unable to perform list. And so that doesn't look like an option right now. Also, he has his case. August 13th is initial court date in Montgomery County before Judge Lisa Machok. and he has been accused of third-degree felony domestic violence, accused of attempted strangulation of his baby's mother. And again, his lawyer has told me, Stephen Jackson, that he believes Jimmy will be vindicated. He asked people to reserve judgment and to let him have his day in court. And we'll see what happens and how that plays out for Jimmy Ward. But it doesn't look like he's an option anyway for the start of the season. And obviously that's a serious matter, and the NFL is investigating. They're going to be heard from on whether they're going to allow him to play. And that is also another, really a loose end on that situation. And it's a serious one, and we take those type of accusations seriously. Also, we take seriously his right to innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. So there's always two sides to every story. That's all as far as I'll go on that. I will tell you this, when it comes to this situation, this is the kind of thing that maybe they go from being the best defense to being more of a top 6 kind of defense. I think he was that valuable, made that big a difference for the Texans when he was in the lineup. And unfortunately, didn't get to play any games for the Texans, and they will head to Minnesota to play the Vikings. I want to give you some other updates, kind of news and notes from the practice. Nick Chubb has a head injury, I'm told, got hit hard in the head, and he hasn't practiced for the last couple of days. He did watch practice today, so I don't know when he'll be back. Undetermined, but the running back situation, Dameon Pierce looked good, but didn't practice today. That's part of the ramp up. No setbacks with the quadriceps, I'm told. It's just a matter of they didn't feel comfortable putting him in a scrimmage situation when he's just had one walkthrough. And that's just good common sense, making it kind of a layered process to getting him back on the field. Christian Harris, the linebacker who ran with the first team in the walkthrough, also did not practice. And I think that's the same thing that it is with Dameon Pierce. Meanwhile, Jalen Reed is out for about 3 weeks, I'm told, with an ankle injury that he suffered in practice back in Houston. So we will wait for Jalen Reed. He would have been an option for the safety position if healthy, but he is not healthy, will not be ready. Another guy they can look at is Rush East, and we'll see how they go forward at the safety position, which is an important one in D'Amico Ryan's defense. So they have some things to think about. Everyone will ask me about about free agents. I think they can get this done with the guys they have on the roster right now. But we're going to see how do they handle this situation, this fluid one involving C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Meanwhile, looking at the Vikings game, we're going to get more into that, previewing. I'll be going to Minnesota. I talked to Nick Caley today. Had a great conversation with him about his goals for the offense. We'll have that for you. And my interview with EJ Speed. And an interview with Daniil Hunter, an exclusive. So I've got a lot of content to post. Guys, please watch, like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for supporting the channel. We are nearly 13,000 subscribers and look to just keep growing and growing. No real limit to what I hope to do. Just want to make this as big and vibrant a channel and a good channel and give you the guys good videos, good information. I've obviously been working on the story, and so I don't immediately go on because I'm working. But I've been out here on the field making calls and just trying to get to the bottom of the story. So meanwhile, the Texans will travel tomorrow to Minnesota, and I expect, as far as the playing time, and we'll get more into this, I don't know if they're going to play a lot of starters. I could see this being kind of the backup bowl and maybe a few select starters, but some starters will play. D'Amico Ryans didn't indicate if C.J. Stroud will be among them, and it'll be interesting to see if he did what he did against the Steelers when he went 5 for 5. He played a little bit, one series. Maybe that's what will happen. That's what C.J. Stroud wants, but we'll see how the coaches want to go about this. There's also been some injuries on that field before, like every field in the NFL, but quite a few there in Minnesota at US Bank Stadium. So we're going to see what happens. But for right now, the big story of the moment is C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and we'll give you more as things develop. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That is it for me from now from the Greenbrier, and we'll have some more player interview videos that I'll be posting. And of course, I'll have more content at Twitter/X and at KPRC2, including some television reports tonight with Ari Alexander, and over the weekend with Randy McElvoy. I will be at the game. I will bring you stuff right from the field and post-game and all that good stuff. So look forward to more, and thank you for supporting the channel. Talk to you soon.